Okay, Swadika, good morning. It's 11 o'clock. It's 10:55, Friday, January 3rd. Happy New Year, everybody. Swadika. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? We got the VTC front desk and sales drivers team. Here we've got Isaac Chavez. We've got Jesse Nisperis. Yeah, Nisperis. So if you do it like Siri, call Jesse. Call Jesse. Calling Jesse Nisperis. You know, Siri, that's how they call you on. No, Jesse. I don't have a Jesse. Anyways, we got Dame Ali. She knows she got a Filipino name. Dame Ali. And we got Jonathan Galina. Okay, guys. So we need to talk about several things here. We've got a lot to cover. I know that we're kind of getting into a later start than we wanted to, but again, it's always good to help preface everything with some background and some things that kind of get you engaged somehow in the world outside of what we're doing here and how it all relates. That's important because all this is interrelated. You know, we talk about business, we talk about industry, capitalism, we talk about murder, we talk about greed and corruption and what have you. All of this is intertwined in everything that you do in life. 100%. I want to teach you guys this as young people. Okay, so what's the purpose of today's meeting? Today's meeting is in 2020 and beyond. We are now what we call the Roaring 20s. Okay, it is not only a new year, but it is a new decade. Like we talked about last night, 2020 is a leap year, meaning that there's an extra day in 2020. It is considered an auspicious year, meaning it's a kind of like a lucky year, right? Now, if you believe in that stuff, right? So I know some of you, Filipino people, you go, right? So you believe in that superstition, and to some certain extent, I do too, right? It's also the year of the rat for the Chinese people, okay? And it's also a good year in terms of like monetary, whatever. Roaring 20s, like we talked about last night. Some economists believe that the 20s in the 2020s will have parallels of the 1920s. The 1920s where the economy was booming after World War I and boomed for 10 years. Stock prices rose like crazy. Now there were certain factors that in 1929 the stock market crashed, and then the Dust Bowl happened in Oklahoma. We had a bunch of fucking Okies come out, Okies come out here from Oklahoma, right? Like the Grapes of Wrath with John Steinbeck that had written several novels and stuff like that. In regards to that, came out and migrated because all the crops were wiped out, and so the effects of the stock market crash, as well as the primary crops of the United States being wiped out, led into the U.S. economy depressing, and then it trickled to the rest of the world. You guys are familiar with that. You guys learning that in school? No, you're not. So anyways, stop from your line. So
Second line today, Dave.
I did not learn that in school.
I'm done. Correct.
I'm messing with you. Dave. When he's like, that's messed up. I quit. Like, 2020, man. I'm gonna go back to Walmart.
Anyway.
All right. So, but in all seriousness, so in 2020 we have a huge opportunity. Now, obviously, three things. We've got Maine. A year ago, we spent a lot of money investing into our academy here at our Maine branch. I'm still on the fence of calling this North Stockton instead of Maine branch, so take note of that. This will probably be called North Stockton instead of Maine because it might be confusing as we spread, and we're going to talk about that shortly. Okay, so Maine may be now called North Stockton. Then we have Midtown. Now Midtown is interesting because for 2 years we let that pretty much run on its own, and the rent there was inexpensive. I just kind of did that as an experiment. I did that as kind of a community outreach. I did that originally because we had a lot of people that wanted to work, but we didn't have enough time slots available for people that wanted to work, right? And that first year, actually, to be quite honest, I lost a lot of money that first year because I was overstaffed and we didn't have enough people at Midtown, because I was also overextended due to competition, right? And so I didn't put a lot of effort into it, but it grew organically, okay? A couple things that we learned at Midtown: we started off at 4 days a week, right? When we probably should have started at 3 days a week. So a year later, after year one, trying to do 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, we downsized to 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and made it so that they can now also have the opportunity to train here as well for an upgraded fee. That worked out beautifully, okay? Now, to be honest, I hadn't spent much time in Midtown over the last 2 years. It has not been really it had not been until the last 3 or 4 months, 3 months probably, that I've been spending a lot more time. And therefore I realized, look, these people deserve the opportunity to grow there because they're just as beautiful as the people that we have here in Maine. And in fact, what we're looking at is that we're pulling numbers from Maine that would, people that would come to Maine to go to Midtown. So in one sense, our business really hasn't grown per se, right? Our business hasn't grown per se, maybe dollar-wise because we're increasing the tuition, but our business in terms of like pure numbers has not grown at Maine and Midtown, right? So we're gonna talk about that here shortly, but I wanna kind of give you guys some background. And so in the last 2 years, it's sort of grown there. You know, I think we're at about, 70, and I'm gonna have Demel kind of confirm those numbers for me. Maybe Jonathan and Damon, I want you guys to follow up with or work with Demel to kind of dig out what that is. I need to know what those numbers are through Spark. How many actual active members do we have at Midtown versus Maine? Okay, that's really, really important. But so in the last few months, I realized, you know what? In order for us to grow the way that it was currently or formally configured, there was no way for us to fit more people in there. There just was no way. Okay, so we ended up spending $20,000 more that's recording, right?
Yeah.
$20,000 more to improve that facility. And right now it's just gorgeous. You guys all agree to that. It's freaking gorgeous. And there's a little bit more work to do in there, but for the most part, that place is beautiful. And we even have a sign, finally have a sign after 2 years. We finally put one of the signs that we paid $600 for that was supposed to fit up there, but we didn't have a boom lift to get up there. And then when we finally was able to get up there, we realized that it was cut too small to actually fit. So we're now going to use that we were using it for Midtown on the exterior. I do believe that place is going to pick up significantly. And now that I'm there, now that I see some of the things that we need to improve on in regards to systems, I guarantee that's going to pick up. Okay, so I'm going to preface it with that because it's all going to tie in and lead in as we go into this background. So Elk Grove. Elk Grove is a place that I've always been looking at for the last 5 years. Now, if you look at the growth trajectory of Elk Grove, California, in 1999, I believe the population, when my wife and I moved back from the Philippines, okay, when I got finished with college, the population of Elk Grove was something along the lines of 35,000 or 40,000. From 1999 to 2008, okay, because there was a big boom between 2000 and 2007 prior to the crash, right? The population jumped from 35,000 to about 100,000 people. Whoosh! Now, of course, it was one of the hardest hit places in America in regards to foreclosures. Now, I don't know if you guys knew this, but when we moved back to California in 2011, almost every corner, in my neighborhood and these neighborhoods here had a foreclosure sign, or for sale sign, or short sale sign. Okay, almost every other house. Okay, Stockton was one of the biggest hits in the United States. Period. Elk Grove was the same because these were commuter towns where people from the Bay Area were, speculating because they were getting, interest-only loans, no credit check, no down payment, whatever. And so they were basically getting these high-risk loans that everyone defaulted on, okay? Now, Elk Grove, that was the same case. And so what ended up happening, same thing with Western Ranch, and then people were like making these marijuana grow houses and all kinds of crazy stuff going on there, okay? Now, fast forward, in 2012, 13, 14, into where we're at today, in 2020, the economy picked up significantly. Elk Grove has been booming, okay? Elk Grove cleaned up like crazy. There was a time where they couldn't even get rid of homes in Elk Grove. Where Oz is at now, it used to actually be a martial arts center. That ring was part of a martial arts center that had karate, taekwondo, Muay Thai, actually they had a Muay Thai Lao, a guy named Andy K that used to teach there. And it was owned by a bunch of like people that invested, including CHP officers and all this other stuff. And they didn't pay rent for a year. I'm giving you some background on what happened, where Oz is at now. That building where Oz is at now, they got it on a fire sale. They ended up buying that for, I think that building for like, because it foreclosed, it sat empty. And they bought it for 150, 180,000. I wanted to buy it at the time, okay? But I wasn't in a position at the time because at that time, because of the downturn of the market, banks weren't lending money. Do you guys understand that? That's why you guys in the roaring 20s need to now save, invest, reinvest, and get ready for the 30s. Because if you look at the parallels of the 20s and the 30s in the 1930s, what happened? You went to school?
I didn't pass.
And you're still going to school? You're still not passing? Just quit, dude. Just quit. I'm serious. You just quit. I mean, it's a waste of time. Really, if you don't know what happened. What happened in the 1930s?
Oh, y'all don't know either? And y'all were quiet?
Yeah. You're the only one, Coach.
What's that? I mean, what happened in the world in the 1930s? Anything? It's called the Great Depression, guys. God, you guys never heard of the Great Depression? You guys really should look at the Great Depression. Look up the Roaring 20s and the Great Depression. Here's the thing, if you guys don't understand history, you guys are really fucked. Because history repeats itself. You ever heard that term before? I'm trying to give you guys some background that nobody will ever teach you, right? Even if you guys decide you don't want to do anything here at all, I guarantee you will not learn this in school. You will not learn this at anything because your history will repeat itself. So anything that you try to do in business, you can also, that's why I go to all these educational seminars. That's why I take you guys, right? Because time collapses the opportunity to learn. Oftentimes when you go to college, it's good, but oftentimes it's people that are in academics that haven't really applied things yet, right? So I'm trying to give you guys lessons that go beyond just this. This is all gonna tie back in, right? I'm not trying to put you guys down. I want you guys to really look this up because the Great Depression was extremely debilitating. There were people in the United States that were committing suicide that could not eat. It was a third world. Do you guys understand? The Golden Gate Bridge was built during that era because of all these people that were looking, all these, look at the Hoover Dam. You guys know what Hoover Dam is at? Hoover Dam is in Las Vegas, okay? So look at the Hoover Dam. Okay, this is important for you guys as young people because again, it's gonna let you guys understand how you guys are gonna make certain decisions in your life. Otherwise, you're just gonna be followers. Do you guys understand? You don't wanna necessarily be a follower like everybody else and let social media dictate who is running your government. Okay, look up the Great Depression because literally millions upon millions of people lost their jobs. Here's a great movie. There was a boxing movie. It was called Phenomena. I want you guys to watch it. It's on Netflix. It won a bunch of Academy Awards. It is called, not The Fighter. Remind me to look it up, and I'm gonna have you guys watch it. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenon. It's a great inspirational story. It's like one of those things that'll make you cry. But it's a true story about this boxer. That he was a prize boxer, Irish American boxer in New York City, and he's doing well. And then the Great Depression hits, right? And he can't feed his family. He has to give away his children, right? And so now he's fighting to get his children back. Really, really fucking. I think Disney made it or something, but it's a phenomenal movie, multiple Academy Awards. But it kind of shows you what was happening during that time, during the Great Depression, because it's going to happen again. I don't know if you guys remember. You guys are now what, 20? You're 19, 25, 16,
22.
okay, 13. Okay. During the Great Recession, when the market crashed, okay, this is right before we opened up down our stock, and people laughed at me. This is 2011. Okay, the market crashed 2007, 2008. It continued to crash for a while. Okay, lots of people didn't have jobs. So that was, let's say, 10 years ago. Okay, 10 years ago, 10, 11 years ago, you were 11 years old. Okay, so you probably don't remember this. Okay, you were 8 years old, probably your sister's age, right? You were 2 years old, so you don't remember. Okay, you probably don't remember, but it was a stressful time for, especially the valley. The valley, unemployment in the valley was 19%. You understand how fucking high that is? Stockton was, you guys heard it before, the most miserable city to live in the United States. It was the very first large-sized city to file for bankruptcy. Did you guys know that?
I heard about that.
Okay, that's important to know. That's really important to know where you live, right? And so again, it dictates who you're going to vote for, right? It's not because, oh, he's prejudiced. You guys understand that? Because he said something about women, or he said something about this. You guys have to understand what they're trying to achieve for your greater good, because it taxes you. Do you guys understand that? It'll come out of your pocketbook, out of your checks. So you guys see the checks. So let's say you made $500. You guys see how much goes to taxes? And right now you don't have many bills. Wait till later on when you make more money. The more money you make, the more the government takes. So this is hugely important, guys. No one else is going to teach you this shit. I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to learn this anywhere else. You can, but I guarantee you probably won't. Because if you haven't heard about the Great Depression now, I guarantee you'll probably be 50 years old. It's going to already be too late. So why? Why is this important? Because this is going to talk about what we're trying to achieve within the next 10 years. 10 years for you guys doesn't sound like it sounds like a lifetime. It might be. Well, let's just say 5 years. Let's just say 1 or 2 years. But the older you get, you want to be able to forecast and project longer. I want to give you guys longer term goals. You guys should be thinking, where am I going to be at in 5 years? Where am I going to be at in 10 years? Okay? At your age, it's, I'm going to be right here. I'm going to live in the moment, man. What's up, shit, this shit's sticky grain. Oh, man, I can't get on my finger. Right? You know what I'm talking about, right? That's okay. That's okay. But what ends up going to happen is, you know, it's funny because in parts of in Stockton, and I'm going to tell you this, in parts of Stockton, you know, we do have a homeless problem, obviously, right? But it's not as pronounced as a lot of other places. You go to San Francisco, it's gross. You see people shitting in the street. They pay people in the city of San Francisco $100,000 a year to clean up people's feces. Do you guys understand that? $100,000. Why? Because of all the dangerous stuff, that hepatitis and AIDS and tuberculosis, all the diseases that you can get cleaning up people's feces. You guys been around San Francisco lately? In Mission Boulevard? We'll just walk around, you'll see. You gotta be careful. People just urinating, shitting. It's gross. Los Angeles, okay? Los Angeles. Now again, I want to start you guys in 220. Now I know you guys are thinking of this, and it's all gonna relate, but you guys have to understand this. In Los Angeles, it's an epidemic crisis. We were just in Southern Cal. Los Angeles has a homeless population of 55,000 people. The city of Lodi is 50,000 people. An entire freaking city of homeless people, right? It is, you guys ever heard of the bubonic plague? You guys heard of the plague? Okay, so again, that's what's happening now with schools. They're cutting out history programs and stuff like that. The plague is during the medieval times in Europe, where it was like in France and in England, where things were so densely populated that people lived so close together that all these diseases festered around, okay? And it just spread. You know, when the Europeans came to the United States, to America, what happened to the Indian population? Do you guys know what happened to the Indian population?
The disease killed most.
Exactly, because of all the shit that these guys carried over, the Native Americans didn't have, because of this densely populated living spaces. In LA, a lot of the diseases that we thought were eradicated are now coming back and spreading, and that's going to spread outside that now modern medicine can't cure anymore. We've got to keep up. Do you guys understand? So it's a problem. So it's very important. I tell you the different things that, you know, how businesses are trying to get over on people, right? People don't understand where their money's going. You hear your friends all the time. You hear your parents all the time. Where's all the money going? Where's all the money going? Do you guys understand that? So it's important. I'm trying to give you guys this background because nobody else will. Because most people are fucked financially, right? If I die tomorrow of a heart attack, right? Because I, got some contact high off of this shirt or something, right?
It's like gas, that's why.
At least you guys know. Do you guys understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. That has to be prefaced there. Okay, it's not you guys don't understand that. Business meetings aren't regular business meetings here. It's a chance for you guys to grow because you guys won't grow otherwise. Okay, regardless of if you think you will or not, you will. But watch all the mistakes you make. Even if you go into your own business, you will time collapse things if you look at what other people do. Right? It's very important. Very important because otherwise you're going to be fucked and your business will fail and you will. And it's okay to fail. Remember that. It's okay to fail because you hopefully can learn from it. There was a quote that I saw this morning. I want to share with you guys. It's on my phone. It said, learn to take a rest if you're tired. Don't quit. Does that make sense? Well, people will just fucking quit because I didn't do well. Fuck, I'm not going to be good at this. So they never have a chance to succeed. That's why 99% of the world do not succeed. Do you guys understand? People just give up. Whatever it might be, they just give up. They have no faith in themselves. That's why so many people become homeless because I'm gonna go get fucked up, go smoke some weed, go do some drugs, right? It's an epidemic. It's another thing I saw this morning is that black tar. That's huge right now in California. Yeah, black tar heroin. Huge. People fall in that because they don't. That's why it's so important what we do in our community to build confidence so people don't do that, right? This all ties in, you guys understand, and how important of what we do. It's not just teaching martial arts. It's not just teaching fighting. That's why I want you guys to both train so you guys can understand the benefits. It's very hard to sell the benefits of what you guys are trying to sell unless you've experienced it yourself. Unless it was life transformational, like these two guys. I mean, right? Now he's got the confidence to go to school, finish school, took a fight, a couple fights, doing his own business. For you, bullied. Now, look, he's doing really well, confidence-wise. So again, you guys know the life-changing effects. So you want to be able to now, we want to be able to now change the lives of the people around us. Because most people, and I say this time and again, our number one product is not fighting. Our number one product is not the beautiful gyms that we have. Our number one product that we provide is not the world-class customer service, our award-winning programs, right? Our number one product is the gift of confidence that we can provide to our consumers, to our clients, to our guests, to our families, to our friends, right? So it's important you guys understand that right off the bat, that number one, we are about providing an opportunity to make people confident. And it comes in different forms. Like if you look at Daniel, right? It's tough. I mean, they call him a miracle baby, Daniel Alvarez. Super awesome parent, super great kid. But it's tough because he's a big kid. And so we've got to figure out how, to make it so that, he's confident in himself. And, I know it's tough. I know the parents are trying to wrestle with, his diet and stuff like that. That's tough, because I think what happens is it was established, when he was a kid. They spoil him because, he was a miracle baby. Maybe he was premature or whatever. Then you have kids like Hinnon, Jackson Hinnon. Right? I think he was a preemie also. You see how big his dad is, right? He was probably a premature baby, and now he's got that confidence to spar. Do you guys understand? It makes his parents cry. Like literally, you guys see his parents cry, right? I mean, it is life-changing in what we do. So it's important that we take what we do extremely seriously. Now, matters how much I fuck around or whatever, really, this is the reason I started Valor in Stockton, okay? Remember, I lived all over some of the nice places in the world, Monterey, Laguna Beach, Cebu, Honolulu, Hawaii, not just Hawaii, the nicest exclusive neighborhood in Hawaii, right? Lived in Valley Forge National Park, one of the nicest places on the East Coast. Okay, I came back here because Stockton is a great place with great people just like all of us, but we weren't given an opportunity and a chance, and that's what we weren't trying to provide everywhere. Once we understand the why of what we do, then it's easy then to understand our mission on how we're gonna now help more people, serve more people. It's not about selling, remember that. We can read all these books and take all these courses. At the end of the day, we are serving. So people become confident. They stay off the streets, they stay off the drugs, they stay off, being homeless, right? They get education far beyond just punching and kicking. They get education far beyond just being, a normal day-to-day, let's go work for the government and collect a paycheck, okay? It now becomes, okay, here, I have a real career that means something to most people, right? Now it becomes self-gratification because now you are changing lives for the better. Does that make sense, guys? Mm-hmm. And that is fucking powerful. Don't you agree? So whatever you do, put your heart into it, right? Because you believe in it. Think about it. For your car detailing business, you do great at it because now you're saying, oh, you know what? This person is going to appreciate driving because we spend so much time in our cars. We take, you think about with Jamie and Bubba, Nico, 5-6 hours a day driving. They want to be in a car that's nice, right? Now, because you're driving, you got your corn nuts, right? And then that thing's all spilling all over the place. Eat your French fries, now it's spilling all over the place. I've seen some of your cars, they're nasty. But, it starts piling up. You want to be able to provide, okay, when they get in, I can feel good about it. I'm not get in there, I can feel better about myself on my long ass commute. Do you guys understand that? So you have to think about what service do you provide? Whatever you guys do, remember, somebody's coming to us with a problem. We need to now provide a solution. And anything you do in business, that is the key to success. Understand that there is a problem. Once you know that there is a problem, if you can find a solution, then you've got the right formula. But it's not just finding the solution. It is having the other factors involved to make it very successful. Do you guys understand that? 100% you ain't gonna learn this any fucking where else. 100%, okay? You guys will thank me on my deathbed one day, okay? Remember that, and the people around you will thank you for what you've contributed to their lives. Now, would you rather do that or just sit there and just collect a paycheck at the DMV, right? You understand that? At the end of the day, you want to make a difference in people's lives. At least I do, okay? And the people that I want to work with us are people that want to make a difference in people's lives. Because again, we're in the valley, lots of people want a job, right? I want to have people that want to be able to change people's lives. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So, that preface, that's understanding. That's our why, guys. Our why is to make people better. We're serving our members, our potential members. We're serving our community, okay? Front desk, instructors, we're gonna have a very similar meeting, with instructors as well, except maybe not as this in depth. But you guys are the ones that are gonna interface with the customers. Moving forward, and we're gonna write this down, I want all the staff to be able to interface and interact with all of our clients. And let's consider them clients and not customers. Now that's the reason, and Damon, I'm not gonna be able to bring you to Phoenix this time. I'm gonna bring these two guys. The prices of the plane tickets went up $450 and $1 a piece from $200, which is crazy. But they went up to $450, and I could share a room with these guys, right? Whereas you have to get you a room, and at least these guys can share a bed together. Secret lovers. Right. So, but I'm going to bring you to maybe Connecticut or Martial Arts Super Show in Vegas. Okay. You're like, Vegas? Yes, Filipino. I'm going to play Keno. To play the blackjack. All right, so, but in all seriousness, what I want you guys to see, and the reason I want to bring you to this one, is for this particular thing in Phoenix in 2 weeks, is I want you guys to see how 14-year-old, assistant instructors interact with parents. One thing that we're not doing is interacting more with our clients. We have to do that more. Sometimes, you'll see you kind of hide on the other side of the room. We're gonna work on that. That's what the instructor thing. That's where we have to develop your confidence. That's what we need to do. That's why we're gonna have leadership classes that I want everybody to attend. Actually, I want you guys to attend the leadership classes as well on Fridays. That's important. It's gonna help how to role play and develop confidence on how to interact and talk to other people. Because what you're gonna see is if you don't know how to interact with people, you will not be successful. It's better for you to work at a government job collecting a paycheck. Gonna be 100% honest with you guys. You're gonna be in a business, you're gonna have to know how to interact. You now know how to interact much better than you did 6 years ago or 7 years ago before you started at Valor, correct? Okay, it's learning how to interface, how to look people in the eye, shake them in the hands. Like right now, you guys are all looking me in the eye. Okay, I guarantee before you started Valor, you're all looking at your fucking balls. Where's it at? Where's it at? Right? Right? Seriously, it's very hard for you guys. Watch people, it's hard for them. But I'm telling you right now, having that, being able to interact like that, look someone in the eye, it allows someone to trust you, right? When you look away, right? Some shitty as fuck, right? Makes you wonder, okay, well, what's going on, right? You guys understand that?
Oh, yeah.
So I want you guys to be able to understand how to interact. Okay, that's so 2 weeks some things that we're going to be changing. To write this down, a couple things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be having meetings on a regular basis. This is probably the most in-depth meeting that we're going to have because it's the beginning of the year. But we're going to have meetings for front desk and sales drivers. We're going to have meetings for instructors and assistants. Anything else? Other meetings? That's pretty much it. Okay. But we don't want to be inundated with too many meetings, right? But when we do these meetings, so I've been in corporate a long time. Sometimes meetings are just boring as fuck, right? And that's why I try to make it a lesson so that you guys actually can learn and apply to other areas of your life. Does that make sense? Especially working with young people, because I know that I've been in meetings with blah 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 blah, and it goes one and out goes out the other. And we never really understood our mission, especially when I worked for Medtronic and with corporate sales, making $300,000 a year, right? It was more about the bottom line quota. How do we make more money? How do we make more money? It's not about that. It's about how do we improve people's lives for the better. When you guys understand that is our why, it makes it easier to understand the how. Because now you understand the importance of what we're doing. It's not just, okay, here, I need to make some more money because I need to go to paradise, paradise, paradise. You guys understand? Okay, seriously, okay? It's very, very important. If you have that outlook, it's going to change your life and it's going to change everyone else. The reason that we're so successful is because we're not all about the money. Are we the cheapest? No, not anymore. We used to be. Are we the most expensive? No, we're not. Right now, we're moderately priced. Okay, so we're going to talk about pricing here shortly. So meetings, we're going to have meetings twice a week. Okay, roles, let's talk about roles. So we're going to have a front FDAs. Okay, so the FDAs, our front desk, Damali, Jonathan, Uncle Keone. Okay, Auntie Mel will be serving at home. She did a lot of things I need her to do at home. Right now, coming in at the time that she did, it wasn't effective for us. I have certain things I need her to complete, and that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm here. You need to do this, do this, do this, do this by a certain time. You guys need to follow up. Okay, so I need to have you guys follow up and make sure that Auntie Mel is completing these tasks at the same time. She's very effective at those things. I think it's better for her because she works really hard up in Sacramento all day. So it's easier for her to complete those things at home. Okay, so and then easier for you guys to now staff it, because really the times that are going to be the busiest are between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock. It really is. That's the busiest time. So we're going to need to bring on an additional team. Okay, so I think it's been a lot more productive lately in the last month with the shift on the way we've created things. because there's a lot of like minutia that we're gonna have to really key up on. We might be bringing in more front desk people, obviously as we grow into Elk Grove. That might be Francesca, Paul Johnson or Bubba Johnson's wife. We'll see. But we're also gonna have sales drivers. So you guys are both young, and you guys are doing a great job. And we're gonna practice on how to sell. But I think that there's gonna be people that are more inclined to understand how to sell, especially if they understood the benefits, such as Mr. Isaac, maybe Mr. Jesse, maybe Mr. Bubba, right? Where they can, basically be a living testimony to the effects of our product, right? And how it can change lives. Does that make sense? So we are gonna role play, we are gonna practice so that you guys are effective at it as well. But I'm gonna have certain primary drivers that you guys are also gonna learn from, right? So it's gonna be easier for me to teach certain guys that are gonna be able then to teach you. So that you are also gonna be responsible for helping the FDAs learn. So our sales drivers, we'll write that down, our sales drivers will help train our front desk team. So our front desk team, you guys are gonna be experts at the back end stuff, how to run our software management systems. Currently we use Spark. I'm gonna have Auntie Mel write this down. Auntie Mel will be responsible for launching Spark Ignite and simplifying it as much as possible. I think Auntie Mel, I think you're fantastic. I think oftentimes you make things more complicated than they need to be. Let's simplify it and give me, instead of having 500 answers, I need 3 ways to do things. Actually, 1 way to do things, meaning the best way to do it. That's important. And then teach it to our team so it's scalable. That's really important. Launch Spark Ignite. That's gonna automate things. Spark Ignite is an additional, I don't know, was it $200 a month? Okay, $200 a month for what we're already paying, okay? Right now, Maine or North Stockton and Midtown are run as one system under Spark because of the 3 days a week and the 6 days a week here, okay? Spark Ignite automates everything, meaning it'll send out auto-responding emails and texts and all this other stuff so that you guys don't necessarily have to. Because sometimes you guys are trying to figure out what type of conversation do I have. Because right now, as I market, you guys see it's hard to keep up with our marketing efforts. I got 3 ads running simultaneously. So how do you keep up with all these inquiries? Because they're gonna pop up every 5 minutes. And you need to get on there. Now, that's where we're gonna role play and we're gonna cut and paste, where we have this conversation. We're gonna role play a little bit here today, okay? But I do wanna kind of go over how we're gonna transition to make things easier for everybody. For Elk Grove, we are gonna be learning My Studio. It's gonna be an experiment, okay? It's a different software system. It is app-based. Now, Spark will also have that opportunity to be app-based, but Spark's significantly more. I don't know if we need all the stuff that we have with Spark. You know what I mean? Spark is great, but My Studio is a simple app. That's what we're gonna use, because as we start in Elk Grove, we're gonna write this down. Elk Grove is gonna start off at 3 days a week as well. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Tuesday and Wednesday will be Jesse and myself as we launch. I might be there Thursdays for the first couple of weeks, and then eventually transition Isaac out there with Jesse on Thursdays. So it'll be me, I'll be there at least for the first 6 months, at least getting that thing launched. I'm hoping that within 6 months we get 100. We'll talk about what our quotas are gonna be, our goals are gonna be, and what our goals and our quotas are gonna be moving into 2020. So, is she okay?
Yeah.
Okay. See anything?
No, my dad just asked how she was doing.
Okay. So we'll take about 5 in about 5 minutes we'll take a break, but it's basically Elk Grove will be 3 days a week, okay, to start off. Myself and Jesse will be there, so we will do we'll do mass intros first, and then we're gonna have My Studio, and it's an app. All they have to do is download the app onto their iPhones or their smartphones, and they sign up themselves. Here's our package. Click, boom, they're signed up. Simple as that. The waiver's on there, everything's on that app. Okay? They can buy their equipment packages on there. Click here for starter package. Boom, it's already built. Boom. It already also charges the consumer. So we're gonna talk about that too here shortly. Okay, we are paying close to $1,000 a month in credit card processing fee. We used to pay close to $2,000 a month until we transitioned over to Spark. I thought that we eliminated it completely, but we haven't. So I want to put this all on the consumer in 2020 and beyond, because that extra $1,000 a month equates to $12,000 a year, could mean more salaries for you guys and more career opportunities for you guys. Okay, the whole vision for Valor, and I'm going to say this right here, and probably should have started, is right now we have 3 branches, but in 2020, by 2025, I want 10 branches, Valor branches, in Northern California alone. Okay, it's going to be North Stockton, Midtown, Elk Grove, Manteca, Lathrop, which actually I found a place yesterday. I was looking online last night. It will be Modesto, Rancho Cordova, Natomas, Roseville, West Sac, and probably Tracy. Okay. Now, we were also talking last night about having a new model called the Valor Fit model, which is simply our fitness component, and it is dope. So put Valor Fit. But it has to be, we agreed upon, has to be a separate location from our martial arts training center. Just has to be. It has to be a separate building, a separate wall. It can't be the same facility because of the bumping music that's necessary. So it's going to be a separate product. It'll be Ring Ready Fitness by Valor or something along those lines. Okay? But that is the vision. So the vision is this corporation, this LLC, will have at least 10 branches, will be a multi-million-dollar company, that everybody working here will be making 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 a year, depending on your capacity. You'll have full benefits, medical, dental, optical, as well as a 401k retirement. So it'll be a real career as opposed to just a hobby. That is the vision within the next 5 years. Does that sound cool? Sounds very cool. I'm very excited. Now, if you still wanted to do something on, blow up, another business, you still want to do computers, whatever, but you might find that this corporation might need somebody to do the computer networking system within this corporation, right? That's the value of having, being groomed into something that's building like this. You'll find that you're going to get a huge amount of customers from the 5,000 customers or 10,000 customers that train with Valor. That could be a huge cash cow. It becomes now a synergistic and symbiotic relationship that now creates more opportunity for all of your other businesses. If you look at Noah Bagels next to Starbucks,
I love that face.
you guys see that? And usually there's also Jamba Juice nearby. You guys see how that all works? There's a symbiotic relationship. Take a look at clusters. When you look at all the strip malls in the United States, I'm trying to give you guys, again, background in business. If you look at strip malls around the United States, what's consistent? You go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, or you go to Mobile, Alabama, or Tustin, California, or Brooklyn, New York, or Syracuse, New York, or Chicago, Illinois, or Peoria, Illinois, or Gary, Indiana, or Pocatello, Idaho. All these strip malls will have certain businesses that are the same and are clustered with the same because the business models prove that these guys feed into each other. And it becomes a symbiotic. You know what symbiotic means? You take science yet? Stupid motherfuckers, man. Fuck, dude. God, you guys wasted your fucking money on college so far. Stupid. But anyways. Synergistic. You know what synergistic means? Fuck, dude. God damn. This
There's
is,
some biology shit.
God
It's
damn.
like a bunch of parts working together to create a whole.
There you go. Good. Thank God. It's a bunch of parts and you're not that stupid. Just a little bit stupid. Okay.
I'll take that.
It's a bunch of parts working together to create a whole. Okay? And it now makes everybody thrive. Do you guys understand that? If you think about, I look at this. I was afraid to squeeze the trigger, Velcro, because of how much more it has cost. So much more expensive. But I knew that all the factors of all things were right. Now, if I look right now, look at all the listings for rental properties there, for commercial real estate, is super fucking expensive now because it's booming, right? It went from a population, again, from 35,000 to 100,000, and now, I didn't finish from when I started, to 100,000, from 100,000 at the bottom of the market to now 180,000. From 2011 to 2020, it grew another 75,000 people. Do you guys understand that? Do you understand the growth? And they project another 50,000 people within the next 20 years. And the majority of the growth is right where Valorel Grove is at. 10,000 new homes. Do you guys understand that? So it's very important to understand the trends. Why is this important? How does this relate to talking about synergistic effect? So I wanted this location for years. Do you remember? And I said 4 years ago, it's not there, it wasn't meant to be. I was going to Chiang Mai. I came back and it was rented out by a pool guy. I saw this place in June that was available. It's been available for like 3 or 4 years. Been sitting empty. Okay? And I'm like, we were coming back from TBAs in June.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Or something like that. We came back down. I asked to drive by there.
That's Denver.
Or Denver. He picked us up. Went to go look. But I saw that this place was empty. I'm like, what? They got excited, remember? So I called my agent to try to get this place. I didn't want this place. This is the one I wanted. Okay? Got excited, put it on Facebook. Everyone's stoked for me, right? Stoked for us. Next day, I got outbid by a multi-million-dollar physical therapy group that paid more, that paid for the TIs. I was crushed. Okay? This is only like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I was crushed. So they said, okay, you know what? We feel bad. We're going to give you this place. And we're going to give it to you. It's 1,000 square foot bigger. And we're going to give it to you for cheaper. I'm like, nah, it's too big, man. I'm looking at it. I couldn't visualize because it had all the walls. It was ugly. And I don't really want it. I was like, who would that's too much money, da-da-da-da-da. At the end of the day, I thought about it. I'm like, oh, I can do all these things and I can do it all myself. Yes, I'm going to pay for it, but they're going to pay for it up front. I just pay payments over the next 8 years. So they gave us an 8-year term. Normally it's 3 to 5 years. 8-year term with 2 terms to renew for 5 years. So 18 years we can have this place. Now what did I say? 50,000 new people in the next 20 years. 50,000 in a population of already 180,000. Stockton has 300,000 people. The average household income of Stockton is $50,000 a year. The average household income of Elk Grove is $155,000 a year. Do you guys see the difference? Okay, what's the point now? Going back to the synergistic effect. So now I decide this is a great place. But every time I drive up there every day now, I realize, oh my God, this is really, really nice. And this is what the landlord was thinking. These guys didn't want us there because they're a personal training place. They're intimidated that we're doing fitness, okay? Because there's usually a clause that landlords have that you cannot move into, you don't want to cannibalize different same businesses. That's why this is unusual because we've got 3 martial arts academies in a complex of only 9 buildings. I kind of did that to myself, but usually landlords won't do that. So they do jiu-jitsu and karate. So it goes back to what we talked about last night, that we're going to talk about at this meeting after the break. And then we're going to continue. We're almost done with this meeting. We'll do done about 45 minutes. But The point is I think we're losing a lot of people because they come into our complex and they see the karate place. They come into the complex, they see the jiu-jitsu place. We're the last place to get to. So we have to be clear that people understand where we're at. And so we're going to talk about that. That's huge. Same thing with Midtown. So that we explain to you, you guys know where we're at. It might be a little bit tricky. It might seem difficult, but it's really easy to get to. We are the last complex as you come in. Or we're right underneath the bridge at Fremont and Pershing Avenue. Now we have a sign, so it's easier to direct people. But I suspect that we're losing at least 40% people because they don't know where to go. Do you guys understand that? So let's go back to the synergistic and symbiotic relationship. We're getting 6,350 square feet of space for basically $6,000 a month. A lot of places are paying a lot more. But look at what's happening here. Across, right next door to us, there is a dance studio that does ballet, jazz dance, hip hop, right? It's the same building, the same owner, but it's a huge building. It's a music studio. They teach guitar, piano, accordion, whatever they teach. All these different music lessons. Right next door. Who are the customers? Who are the clients?
Kids.
Kids. It's children, exactly. It's children. Next door to us here is a homeschool learning center. A lot of people aren't happy with the public school system. That's why charter schools are created. And that's why a lot of people choose to homeschool, especially because of bullying too. So people would rather homeschool their kids. So people pay money that the government pays. Government gives you the option to go to accredited centers. These homeschool places, and we've got asked numerous times, the government will pay them to do PE, which could be martial arts, it could be basketball, it could be gymnastics, but the government will pay for it. Right here is an Imagine play. I used to send my kids this stuff. It's stuff for toddlers, from 9 months old to 4 years old or 5 years old, to learn how to interact, with toys and, get their visual, their auditory, their olfactory, their various senses peaked to be stimulated so that they know how to interact with the world better, to learn better. That's the whole premise of it, is when you learn how to interact young, right? And instead of just sitting there at Lola, eating fucking pancit and spaghetti, locked into your thing like you probably would. Saba! Saba! Cállate, por favor.
Okay, buddy. Whoa.
You guys understand that? Right? No. That's why a lot of Asian kids are suppressed, right? Because they've been locked into their thing, right? They basically tell. Am I lying?
No.
Right? I'm not lying. Look at that. That's why I'm trying to teach you guys. You gotta be a little more, right? That's why Asian has the stereotype. Oh, do you guys understand that? It's not a bad thing. It's actually it's a powerful thing in Asia because it shows that you can have that internal quiet strength. But sometimes it doesn't translate here in the Western world. It's perceived as weakness. That's why I'm trying to empower you guys so you guys understand. That's what the leadership course is about too. Is learning how to me up in the wild swag. You know what I mean? And you want to be able to let people understand that you're a badass motherfucker, right? And anyways, we'll get back into that later. Okay, we'll get back into that. But what happens is, go grab that from me, Tom, please. And then go wipe his face. I know I hit it too hard. So you've been talking anyway, bitch. But you understand? Now it becomes a symbiotic relationship. So for the landlord, what does this mean? That means tenants are going to be there longer. They're going to pay the rent. Do you guys understand that? If these guys are thriving, he thrives. So now these guys are stoked that we're coming in here because now it's bringing in hundreds of children, hundreds of parents that, hey, if little Johnny wants martial arts, little Katie might want dance lessons. Maybe the one person's not physical, he wants to learn music. Or maybe both. Maybe he does want some martial arts, he wants to learn guitar. These kids need somewhere to go here. Or let's say, this has, little Johnny is 6, and, mom just popped out, twins. They're gonna need to do something. They can go here. Do you understand what a symbiotic relationship? It's where everyone thrives because everyone's working together in some shape or form. You see how huge that is? So now it occurred to me, like, whoa. I want you guys to understand, so I'm not just giving you a regular business meeting like this. I'm giving you a business meeting and how the world works and how people think. So it opens up and expands your mind and how it applies to everything else. So it's not just blah, 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 blah. Do you guys understand how powerful this is? Do you see how powerful this is going to be? What's on the other side right here? When you open up our doors right here, if you open up our double doors, from right here to that concrete fence, is a microbrewery. Uncle Bob and I got a couple times there. There's a microbrewery, literally, they have live bands there. They have microbrew beers that are absolutely delicious. Right there. And they're gonna open up and they're gonna see the bags and everything and stuff like that. So, like we were talking about, last night, right? Like I said, anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But that's a whole other conversation about, about that. But, guys that want to drink, may want to hit the bag, right? Or maybe they have kids that may want to go, want to take some martial arts lessons. And on the other side is the gun range. There's a gun range right there. So again, it's a symbiotic relationship. In that corner, in the southeast corner, the very last corner of Elk Grove, is now this thriving community of services. And when all this grows, all this is going to be funneled here. You guys hear where I'm going with this?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's take a break. Let's get some water. If you guys want a beer, you guys are more than welcome to. We're going to finish in 30 minutes. Cool?
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll get back and convene and take a 5-minute. Thank you very much. What do you think so far? You guys good?
Yes, sir.
You guys learning? Okay, so I think